children who would participate, they were invited to wear a vest, and which we in the back of the vest we put a sensor, and the sensor was then tracking their location throughout the experiment. Then we asked them to watch a video. And then after seeing the video, they would start walking around for 10 minutes. And during those 10 minutes, we actually did two things simultaneously. So on the one hand, we were collecting movement data, so XY coordinates continuously. And at the same time, whenever they came to a tablet, at some points they were asked to fill out some questionnaires. So these questionnaires spanned various things, so their knowledge about the plastic problem, their attitude towards the plastic problem, and then completely at the end, children were asked that they could choose a present for their participation in the experiment, and it was either a donation of 25 cents to the Plastic Soup Foundation, so to clean up plastics from the ocean, or they could opt for a plastic present, either a pen, a bracelet of plastic. So there were 4 presents, and each time they could choose, I'd go for the present or I donate the money.
Een stem voor een kleine partij is een verspilde stem.
Nee. Elke stem die je uitbrengt is een waardevolle stem. De vraag is vooral wat je ermee wil bereiken. Dus je kan stemmen op een partij omdat je hoopt dat die de premier gaat leveren. Ja, dan moet je niet op een kleine partij stemmen. Maar als je jouw geluid vertegenwoordigd wil zien in de Tweede Kamer, dan kan je net zo goed op een kleine partij stemmen die jouw geluid vertolkt. Dus je hebt partijen die echt goede getuigenispartijen zijn, die specifiek hun eigen achterban vertegenwoordigen. Of je hebt partijen die proberen het hele speelveld wat meer naar zich toe te trekken. Ook dat kunnen kleine partijen doen. Het belangrijkste is vooral dat je stemt.
Ja, en het is toch ook mooi als door middel van verkiezingen duidelijk wordt hoe de samenleving is samengesteld en wat verschillende groepen burgers nou eigenlijk willen. En als burgers strategisch stemmen, dan gaat die informatie eigenlijk verloren.
Why is degrowth bad? It's a good question from Google. As scholars of degrowth, we do not consider degrowth bad. In fact, the whole idea of being ecologically regenerative and socially just is that we want a society and an economy that is better than the one we have today. However, I understand many people who are not familiar with the term degrowth might associate the prefix D with something that is decreasing or worsening, and therefore associate degrowth with a worsening of the conditions. This is clearly a misunderstanding, and it's often due to, indeed, the unavailability of clear documents that explain what is degrowth or accessibility to those documents, but also often a deliberate project to somehow ridicule degrowth by mainstream economists or mainstream policymakers.
So very early on I learned, the world is being presented to me in a certain way, but what I am doesn't fit in here. So apparently the world has more than what I've been told about the world. But basically that's to say that we are constantly in the business of creating worlds, but we're also constantly confronted with all kinds of stuff that sort of does not fit in. Same with the tarot cards. A student of mine made a film about women who moved to Ibiza and who are into sort of a spiritual female goddess sort of cult. But most of them are really middle-class women from Western Europe. And tarot cards and tarot reading was a big thing there. When you put out the tarot cards, what you basically do, you introduce something that is chance. So although we like to think that we have it all organized, that we know it all, tarot is a way to sort of call upon chance to tell us something that comes from beyond our own framework, that comes from beyond our own understanding of things.
But there's so many different signs of deception and little agreement on which signs are the best. And so the typical approach of deception experts is to select a number of these cues and try to combine them and weigh them into a final judgment. And different researchers and different tests or techniques, they differ in the number of cues that are used and how to weigh them and combine them. This standard approach has a number of problems. Perhaps most importantly, that most cues of deception are actually very weak, and there's actually only very few, perhaps only one good indicator of deception, and that's detailedness. So what we think is it might be beneficial to just focus on one good cue, the detailedness of a message, because indeed, truth tellers have the details. They can tell these details from their memory, and they can provide a more rich story, whereas liars don't have those details.